We talk a lot on this show about racial health disparities, and one of the most glaring and heartbreaking examples is maternal mortality. The U.S. already has the highest rate of any developed nation of people dying from complications of pregnancy and childbirth. But it is worse for people, especially Black Americans, whose maternal mortality rate is 3 times higher than that of white Americans. 3 times. And it's actually getting worse, not better. From 2018 through 2020, the first year of the pandemic, maternal mortality rose for all groups, but for Black people, it shot up by 25%. The Biden administration has made maternal health a top priority. And this week, which is Black Maternal Health Week, Vice President Kamala Harris convened a cabinet meeting on this specific issue, where she said this.
This is an issue that is not just about health care. It is about treating a woman as a whole human being. Understanding that if we are to expect and actually influence positive outcomes on this issue, we must see her then as a whole human being, which is why we have gathered the leaders that are here today so that we can address issues such as the issue of housing. We can address issues such as transportation, such as nutrition, which all have an impact on not only the experience that she will have and therefore her family will have, but also generational impact.
Joining us, Anousheh Hussain, feminist journalist and activist and host of the podcast Spilling Chai. She's also the author of The Pain Gap, How Sexism and Racism in Healthcare Kill Women. Also with us, Dr. Erica Marsh, professor of obstetrics and gynecology at the University of Michigan Medical School. I'll start with you, Anousheh. I want to start with a question relating to Black maternal health, which is the right to reproductive freedom. This week, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Texas, well, Texas was prior to this week, but Kentucky and Oklahoma both this week, passed bans, near total bans on abortion care. We're all waiting with bated breath and anxiety for the Supreme Court to rule on the Mississippi case. I mean, Black people and other people of color are the most hurt by these kinds of restrictive abortion bans. At the same time, Black women are most likely to die from having a baby. What does this say about the value given to Black women's lives when access is cut off in this way that affects not just women who want to seek out abortion, but also women who want to have, people who want to have a healthy baby?
Well, it points out that we really don't have control over our bodies. And as we're seeing state by state, increased restrictions on abortion, it's just really a larger assault on women's reproductive health and rights and women's overall health, because as we know, abortion is health care. And you pointed out that Black women in America are 3 times more likely to die giving birth in America than their white counterparts. And Zerlina, we cannot ever get used to that statistic. That statistic is 243% more likely to die giving birth in America than their white counterparts. And pre-pandemic, there were some really racist explanations for this, like the Black women are less educated or they're welfare queens. But now we know studies show that a college-educated Black woman is still 5 times more likely to die giving birth than their white counterparts. So we know, the pandemic has really just exposed how it's racism and not race that is driving these disparities.
It's such an important point. I think about Serena Williams when you say that, right? Serena Williams almost died giving birth to her child, and it was because they didn't believe she was in as much pain and distress as she said, and that is a common experience borne out by the data. Dr. Marsh, why are Black people 3 times more likely to die? Why is this a data point, and why does this trend appear to be getting worse instead of better?
I think that's a critically important and complex question, but fundamentally, to the point that was just made, the points that Vice President Harris made in terms of the contributors of the social determinants and the structural determinants of health certainly contribute, but also the fact that we're experiencing a significant, we continue to experience a significant amount of racism in the United States, and that racism absolutely contributes in a very negative way to our health status. And I think pregnancy is honestly a magnifier of the impact of racism in the same way that COVID-19 was a magnifier of the impact of racism.
Dr. Marsh, what are some of the specific issues related to pregnancy that Black women deal with disproportionately? I'm thinking about fibroids, or I think it's preeclampsia.
Preeclampsia, you got it.
Here.
No,
help us understand some of these.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think preeclampsia, which is a complex condition that involves high blood pressure and changes in blood flow to the uterus and to the pregnancy, is a significant contributor. Blood clots are a significant contributor that develop, that all women are at an increased risk for during pregnancy. But I think the challenge is when you report the symptoms. Are you asked about the symptoms? When you do report symptoms, are you taken seriously? Are you believed? Are you followed up? How are you treated? And who is the health system really created for? And so that's where racism comes into play. It's not about biological differences in as much as it's about, does my caretaker provide listen to me? Do they value my life as much as other patients? And do they value my voice as much as other patients? As you mentioned, Zerlina, uterine fibroids are another area where there's significant disparity in pregnancy and outside of pregnancy, in the huge percentage of a woman's life where she's not, she may not be pregnant, but that fibroids can persist. They are benign tumors that grow in the wall of the uterus that are the leading cause of hysterectomy in the United States. More women have hysterectomy from fibroids than ovarian cancer, uterine cancer, endometrial cancer, and we know that Black women are significantly higher risk of developing fibroids, and they have disproportionate experiences in terms of how their fibroids are, how they're treated for their fibroids, and if they're treated for their fibroids. So whereas one group of women may be told, oh, just have a hysterectomy for that, another group of women may be told, you can have other fertility sparing options. And so again, that's where the ugly head of racism plays in.
Anousheh Hussain and Dr. Erica Marsh, thank you both so much for being here, and please stay safe. Hi, I'm Zerlina Maxwell. Thanks for checking out our channel on YouTube. You can see more from Zerlina by clicking any of the videos on this screen, and make sure you subscribe below to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. Thanks for watching.